Slow it down one. Cessna over the threshold, coming up on the white dot, at or beyond the white dot, left turn first available. I got a high wind coming up on about a half-mile final, clear to land at or beyond. Traffic on the left face, you're following a Cessna down low off your left. Square it up just a little bit, and then we're going to get you in. Start your descent, though. Start your descent on the base. Traffic on final, give me follow on base. Base traffic, start turning toward the numbers now. High wing coming up on quarter-mile final, take it all the way down to the green. Cessna taxiing on the green, expedite down to the next hard surface. Get me some speed, there you go, 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 go fast. This is going to be good. I got traffic on a mile final. You're following traffic ahead and to your right. High wing coming up on the threshold. Take it all the way down to the green dot.
5 Charlie Sierra, 2 mile final.
A mile final, turn north, and we're going to just make you, we're going to bring you back around. Jet traffic's coming up on about a mile and a half final. Runway 9 clear to land.
Okay, all right, let's listen up, guys. If you're on final for runway 9, I want you to offset to the left. I got a jet that's landing on runway 9. The jet's cleared to land runway 9 if you can make it. If not, just continue straight ahead. It looks like you're going around for the jet. That's fine, that's fine, that's fine.
Oh, we had one right in front of us, sir.
Dragger, let's see, what we got, a tricycle, put it down, tricycle, put it down, tail dragger, down to the green dot, then a left turn. Short final here, you clear to land on 9, all the way to the white dot, go down to the white dot. Find somebody to follow out here. Canard, just come to the runway and I might have to just send you around. That'll be fine. And for the jet, you just want to stay in this pattern or you want to go back out for an instrument approach?
Stay in a pattern, Charlie Sierra.
All right, just stay with me here for a minute. And my tail dragger, let's see, over the numbers, go down to the green. And Canard's going to have to go around. Canard, go around. And my high wing here over the runway, keep it airborne. You do not descend. You got a fast guy behind you. Do not descend. There you go. Keep it airborne. As soon as the guy behind you gets slowed down, I'm going to put you down. So keep it airborne. The one that just passed the white dot, make a left turn on the hard surface. All right, my high wing tail dragger, you can put it down now. And Charlie Sierra, let me get you about a mile off. Let's see, Charlie Sierra, I lost. There you are. Make a left-hand turn. I'll try to resequence you here on the downwinds. We'll see how it looks. Short final, you're clear to land runway 9 on the white dot. There you go. And the tricycle left on the hard surface and follow the flagman. Welcome. Thanks for being part of the show. And let's see, just find somebody to follow on the final, and as you get close to the runway, if it's not going to work, we're going to send you around and then try to resequence you. Now, who else got sent around that's not back on the downwind? The Canard?
Yeah, Canard.
All right, Canard, there's a Gulfstream up there that went around too. I just lost sight of him, but you're going to make kind of a left-hand turn and stay low. I think Charlie Sierra, what's your altitude?
3,200.
Okay, that'll be fine. Just make VFR. I don't know what else is up there. Probably most everybody's down here. Just make a left-hand turn. We'll try to get back here. Okay, the RV, maybe an RV stand, whatever you're on final. Keep your speed up all the way down to the green dot for me. Actually, keep your speed up. There's a guy behind you. For the green dot, I'm sure that's plenty of room for you to land on runway 9. Number 2, you're going to go down to the white dot. Follow the white dot. Actually, you know what? That's 1,500 feet. You're going to land at the white dot. The spacing looks adequate. 2 guys on final, you're kind of tight there. Keep each other in sight, and you're going to aim for the white dot. If it's not going to work, we'll come up with a plan B. We might have to send you around. The second guy behind you out there in about a 2-mile final. Are you slow enough to be able to follow that guy in front of you? You need to go around. Well, I probably shouldn't ask that because I had about 5 guys answer me, so I should know better than that. After 35 years, you would think, right? All right. So let me see. The guy who's number 1, it's number 1. What kind of airplane is he? An RV type. All right, RV type. Keep it airborne for me. Keep it airborne. And I got a fast guy behind you. The number 2 guy over the trees there. Go ahead and put it down on the numbers. My first guy just coming up on the numbers at the over the grass at the numbers. I want you to keep it.
T-minus 1 minute and counting.
Hello.
Four, 3, 2, 1.
Hello.
Hello, how you're doing, and welcome to tonight's slightly different live stream. joining us tonight. We have Carol, but we'll come back to that in a minute. First of all, we have to thank Sky Demon, who are... I'm not quite sure what that was. Who are very, very kindly supporting the live stream. So thank you very much to Sky Demon. And here is your weekly Sky Demon tip. See who knew about this one.
Hello, I'm Tim from Sky Demon. Welcome to today's top tip. Use our Flyable Conditions feature to quickly see how good the weather is likely to be for flying. This colours the map based on the forecast cloud ceiling and visibility. You can configure the feature by long pressing on the key at the bottom of the screen here and set it up for your own idea of good flying weather and marginal flying weather. Bad weather is then coloured red, marginal weather is coloured yellow, and good weather is clear or green. Remember, this is a forecast based on your preferences. If you like, you can use the What's Here menu to inspect the flyable conditions. Here we can see the ceiling is down at ground level. Or here, we have a ceiling at 2,000 feet AGL and fine visibility. For more tips on how to use Sky Demon, go to skydemon.aero and choose Help and Support.
Oh, there you go.
That's a good tip, and I loved how Tim. There was sadness in his voice when he went, "Here, you can see the ceiling is down to ground level."
I know. Well, no one likes it. No one likes ceiling at ground level, do they? Really? Yeah. So once again, thank you very, very much to Sky Demon for supporting the live stream. It's much, much appreciated, and there's a whole load more tips to come in future weeks. So what's coming up tonight? Well, we have. Simon, who's going to give us the weather soon. That's a recording, so I'll be hearing from Simon soon. You can normally tell that when it's a recording, the weather's going to be pants. So we'll see whether that works out. And of course, the biggest difference, as long as I choke, excuse me, is that as you can see, we have a different kind of Johnny. Johnny is away this week on holiday, so we have a supply Johnny, and that's in the form of Carol. So, Carol, how are you doing? Welcome to the live stream.
Thank you very much. Very pleased to be here.
You enjoying it so far?
Well, the auto queue has failed, and I am having to add lib.
Okay, good.
I hate it when that happens.
Yeah, I hate it when that happens too. So a bunch of you will clearly know who Carol is because she is world famous. But there may be 2 or 3 of you who don't. So before we go on, Carol, would you like to give those 2 or 3 people out there a quick introduction?
Yes,
who you are.
I am a pilot, and I've been a pilot for about 30 years. I've got about 1,300 hours. Most of those are on Chipmunks. Love old aeroplanes, love tail draggers, love Northup, and
very good.
Hang on. How can
and I.
Right. Anyway, so
how rude.
Oh, sorry.
I'm on the De Havilland Chipmunk Appreciation Society, which is a Facebook group. It's fabulously successful, and it's for all chipmunk people around the world. And what else is there to say? I think I'm
Very
here
good.
for my sins to stop you having to read my inane comments in the margin.
People are going, "Where's Catkin tonight?"
Captain's gone missing. Well, thank you very much, and welcome to the team. What was I going to say? I was going to say it reminded me of one of the things that I'd forgot to mention about Sky Demon. Actually, when I said that there's a few people who don't. There are a few people who haven't used Sky Demon, I believe, although it's hard to believe. So if you're one of those people, feel free to go over to the App Store or Google Play, download a copy, and try it yourself for 30 days. See what you think. And I think that's probably enough of us for a second. Let's see what Simon has to say about the weather.
Definitely.
Evening all. Sorry I can't be with you this evening. Are you missing me? Yeah, I don't believe you. Actually, as far as the weather goes through the course of this weekend, Saturday's not looking too bad. What we do have is quite a mild south to southwesterly air mass, and this is going to be bringing with it ever more moist air. Now, what that means for us is lowering cloud bases, particularly across western and southwestern coast and hills. always a tricky one when this is happening, because what you tend to find is that you get a bit of mixing in places. Because of the wind, you tend to get a bit of sun on there as well, and that can just bring up the bases once more. So I think what we've got to look out for, and it's kind of hinted at here with the cloud ceiling forecast, is we've just got to look out for more western areas, perhaps seeing just some lower cloud bases, probably at about 1,000 to 2,000 feet, but it could be that they lower and we get some mist and fog patches as well. Now, further east, things generally are looking better here. I think generally we are going to be finding that bases are higher, probably at around 2, 3, perhaps even up to 4,000 feet, and generally better flying conditions. So Saturday not bad, but as I say, I think further east certainly is going to be where we're going to be seeing the best of the weather conditions. Now, as far as Sunday goes, again, we've got that southwesterly flow, but if you look at the cloud seeding forecast, see how many more yellow, amber and red colours are on there. That's sort of confirming the idea that this southwesterly wind is bringing in with it this more moist air all the time. And I think what it tends to do is to fog out many western parts of Scotland, parts of northwest England, western parts of Wales, probably into the far southwestern tips of Cornwall and the Isles of Scilly, as well as Ireland. So I think all of these areas generally are going to be seeing some low cloud through the course of Sunday. I'm going to say bases 1,000 feet or below, and the tops probably on that are near sort of 5 to 8,000 feet, but probably nearer 12,000 feet, with rain getting into northwestern and northern parts of Scotland. Further east, again, different story. Watch for southern coast seeing some low cloud, but these more eastern areas do look generally more flyable. I've just got a bit of a worry about parts of Northumberland, parts of southeast Scotland, but otherwise I think we probably go into bases of around 2 to 3,000 feet, and tops typically at about 10,000 feet. Quite a brisk southwest wind as well, particularly in western areas, less so in the east. Speeds there probably around about 12 to 15 knots. In the west, we're looking about 20 to 25 knots. Now, if you can, try and make the most of this, because things do look as if they are going to be turning significantly more unsettled, windier and wetter as we get into next week. I've got another aviation weather school on Saturday, but I'm really pleased to announce that all of the other courses were full, but now I've got new dates. Squeeze this one in for you. Aviation Weather School Part 1. This is the course that enables you to be able to plan confidently up to 5 days in advance. And just know that you can spot those weather windows, and if you see a forecast from an official source, you know more whether to trust that or not. So if you want to learn more about the weather, build your confidence in weather, come along to Aviation Weather School on the Saturday mornings of the 27th of November and the 4th of December. We're booking online now at weatherschool.co.uk. The places are already going, and I do try and limit them so that everybody gets the benefit of a real personalised learning experience. Anyway, I will leave you with that for now. Go and have a look at weatherschool.co.uk for more information. But whatever you're doing, have a fantastic flying weekend and a safe flying weekend. And I'll see you next week. Bye for now.
Well, not too bad. Yes, proving how fickle the internet can be. Jane Giffords says, Carol, you are wonderful. Whiskey Alpha says, she's fired, north up.
Yeah, absolutely.
And Mr. Always Blue says, Johnny has more holidays than Tui.
That's very true. What's that little patch that's appeared on your picture behind you?
I can't read it. Shall I get it?
Sorry? I can't quite read it, but if it says something like north up. Oh, there you go. Oh, very good. Excellent.
I don't think we need Johnny back, do we?
No.
But just have Carol and her sign.
Who is this Johnny that you speak of, Ed?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. See, north up was so easily forgiven.
I flew track up the other day, but I was actually flying north at the time, so it made it very easy.
Okay.
There is only one way to fly, Carol. And we
I know.
Track up.
Good.
Right.
Yeah.
News. Dave,
Yes.
You're leading us on the news. Let me just scroll down to find my pictures. Here we go.
Oh.
Up. I mean, the other down.
Okay,
Okay, I'm ready with the pictures. Hit us with the story, Dave.
Okay, well, the first story is that Scotland is going to be closed. Closed, that is, for the COP26 conference, which is happening from the 31st of October through to the 13th of November. There's an AIC about to come out. Somehow we've seen an advanced copy of it, but it details the airspace, and basically it's the whole of middle of Scotland. So if you want to go further up, I don't know how you get there. Perhaps you have to fly out to Ireland and then turn back east. But basically, it's a big area, huge area. It goes all the way from Turnberry, which is in the southwest corner, right up to Lushars, I think that's how you say it, in the northwest corner, and it covers all of Glasgow and Edinburgh. So big area.
It's up to 10,000 feet, isn't it?
I can't remember exactly the detail there, but if you break the rules and go into the airspace without a clearance, and it's not very easy to get a clearance, obviously, you will face an interception, apparently. So you'll have a typhoon draw alongside.
Yes, for your own personal air display. No, definitely don't do that.
No.
I mean, I found this coloured in one on the internet. I'm not quite sure who coloured it in, but thank you very much, whoever did. There's a little bit top right as well that's kind of, I mean, it's basically 2 weeks of drawing a line across the whole of bloody Scotland, isn't it? I mean,
yeah, there was a thread discussing it on the forum, and a whole bunch of people pointing out that there's a whole load of general aviation airfields that will be directly impacted by this. So,
I mean, I guess it gives us a little bit of insight into what it must have been. Trying to avoid politics a little bit here, but a little bit of insight into what it must have been like down in Florida when Trump said, "I'm off to Mar-a-Lago," or however you pronounce that, for the weekend, and all of a sudden you got this massive presidential TFR that shut everything down while he was playing golf or something.
Yes.
I mean, I can, frankly, there's going to be an awful lot of world leaders at the COP26 conference, so I'm sure that whoever's job it is to make sure that nothing goes wrong is probably not sleeping that well at the moment.
Yes.
But that said, this is a bloody huge area.
It is.
Yeah, I was wondering. Dan is.
Dan Smith must be a microlight pilot.
But I don't know enough about typhoons to know whether they can fly at 100 knots even. I'm guessing that would be.
Yes, I did witness there was an intercept I spotted on Flight Radar 24 probably a couple of months ago, and this typhoon was just drawing circles around the GA traffic it was following. So
yeah. So on a completely a related note, we were having a debate earlier about that what that sign means. So if you happen to know, let us know in the comments. We know it isn't no entry. I reckon it's like no parking. And Dave reckons it's no busting TFRs.
That's it. Yes. Paul Fraser Benison's got the answer. It'll be a military helicopter for you, Dan. Yes, or probably one of the Secret Service drones.
Oh, that's even more likely.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. Well, I suppose we could just hope for 2 weeks of really bad weather, so we wouldn't have wanted to go there anyway.
Yes, or that there is within the AIC, it does say you can ask for permission. So who knows? Maybe they'll be pragmatic, and some people.
You need ATC permission. You need permission from Police Scotland as well, I think, don't you?
Okay.
So you need quite a lot. I don't think it's the kind of thing where you could. I might be wrong, but I don't think it's the kind of thing where you go, "Hey, weather's great this afternoon. Fancy a bit of a bimble? Let me phone him up. Hey, mate, can I just go for a little? I don't know where I'm going. I just thought I'd do some local sightseeing.
Yeah.
I suspect that's probably not gonna cut it, is it?
No.
We'll have more as we get more details, and as when the AIC actually gets published. I'm sure there'll be a few comments about that.
Yeah.
Harold, are you planning any Scottish flying?
No, the nearest I'm going to go is Eshot, which is a bit short of Scotland, but hoping to do that on the 30th of October for fish and chipmunks up there.
If you're going to fly north up, you might get lost and end up in Scotland, I suppose.
I'll give it a try, see what happens.
Yeah, get your GPS out. That's what I say. Anyway,
great. What else is in news?
I need to talk about the Diamond, apparently.
You do?
There you go. Diamond have announced the electric EDA40, the completely electric version of the Diamond DA40 due to fly, I think, Q2 2022. That's obviously a rendition. There's something curious about that model. It looks like it's a little Airfix model kind of thing more than anything else. I like the solar panels on the tailplane.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
The proposed endurance is 90 minutes.
Didn't they have a statement that they said the anticipated endurance? It's like saying, well, in time it could be this.
yeah. It's interesting, isn't it? Because there's a whole load of electric stuff going on at the moment. There's a whole load of announcements going on. There's a whole load of orders going on, which are kind of paper orders, should we say. So I think everyone's kind of limbering up and this whole sector's starting to kind of move and money starting to change hands. So I think it will be quite interesting. And Diamond don't normally... they would have kept this kind of thing a little bit quiet for a bit longer, I think, before. But, so it'd be interesting to see what happens. And I think as we know, and anyone out there who drives an electric car will know that a 90-minute endurance can mean a 90-minute endurance, or it can mean a 45-minute endurance. It kind of depends how much power you're putting through. Yeah. And certainly, I don't know whether they're talking about a four-seat. I mean, the DA40 is a four-seat airplane. Whether it'll keep its four seats, and whether you can actually put people in those four seats or not is going to be a different.
It'll be interesting. Partly because if you look at it, it's got a big bulge on the belly, hasn't it, for the battery? So
yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But I mean, Diamond, I don't know if you remember when they swapped from the Tila, what was the Tila engine in the DA42, and they went to their own Ostro engine. The Ostro engine is quite a lot heavier than that. So in order to maintain the payload, they kind of strengthened the structure and just upped the max all-up weight. So I wouldn't be surprised if something similar doesn't happen with the Diamond. But obviously that depends whether you get anywhere near the 61 or 63 knot single engine stall speed.
Any idea what they ditch in the sea? If an electric aircraft ditches in the sea?
Does anyone hear it?
That's a good question. I don't know.
You wouldn't want to be a fish in the area.
No.
Well, I think if you're ditching, then you've run out of electricity, haven't you? So the batteries are flat anyway.
Not necessarily. It could be for other reasons, couldn't it?
It could be. It could be. Yeah.
Seized tank shaft or something.
I think that's the least of your problems, though, to be honest.
I don't know, because there was in F1 they had quite a few sort of fairly people getting some quite decent sized shocks over their curse systems, didn't they?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Ed, tell us more about more electric news.
Yes. So more electric news. Electric flying training is going to get a boost in the UK. A new company called Green Airside is behind an ambitious program to supply 50 fully electric Pipistrel Velis Electro two-seat training aircraft to British flying schools, and they've already ordered the first 10. The Velis Electro is the first and so far only certified electric aircraft. It completed type certification with EASA in 2019, and that's followed through with the UK CAA post-Brexit and the UK leaving EASA. Sergei Grachov of Green Airside said the 50 Velis program for the British flying schools is now a reality. We have closed the deal with the investors and are completing the order of the first 10 aircraft this week. The program is aimed at make use of the world's first and currently only certified aircraft, an affordable exercise for the average flying school. So Green Airside is working with UK Pipistrel agent Flyabout Aviation based at Damon's Hall and an investment fund called V1. And the aim is to provide trainers and their infrastructure. So this is interesting. And Ian, you obviously put a photo up of the Velis Electro flying there. That is actually you flying Velis Electro a few days ago, isn't it?
It is, indeed. I finally managed to fly an electric airplane, which is something I've wanted to do for a long time. But as I understand that deal, and I need to, maybe this is not completely accurate, thanks to the VC money, the idea is that the aircraft are kind of bought and then leased to flying clubs. Because they are, they're fairly punchy. For training aircraft, they're no punchier than any other, I suppose. But not many flying clubs have got 185,000 euros to go buy a new 2-seat trainer. But this enables you to kind of pay as you train, as it were. It's a really interesting aircraft, and which I'll be writing about. It's very smooth, very quiet. Flies very. What are you guys laughing at?
No, I'm not laughing. I noticed there was a round of applause from Claire B, and it was actually Claire who gave you your briefing on the Velis Electro.
It was indeed.
Claire, hello.
Claire. Yes, hello, Claire. Very, very interesting aircraft. It'll be interesting to see how that goes. It's clearly its strength is the electric engine, and its weakness is the battery duration.
Yes, but some interesting. There was some interesting things to think about, weren't there? It was things like a power check took 1% of the power, didn't it? And then takeoff was 7%, something like that.
I think it was slightly more than that. I do have it written in my notes.
I was just trying to remember some of the quoted figures, but
I drive a small electric car, not like a big expensive Tesla or anything, just a small electric car. You definitely notice when you're driving around. Musical accompaniments tonight. And you notice when you're driving around, if you're a little bit heavy-footed with your right foot, the battery depletes quite quickly, and it's exactly the same with this. If you want to jump in, go full power, and climb as far as you can, as fast as you can, as high as you can before cruising at 5,000 feet, you're going to be working your way through battery quite frighteningly quickly. And it's it focuses your mind when you're returning, flying downwind, and it says, okay, you've got at this power setting, you've got 9 minutes remaining, or whatever it is. It's kind of.
It's interesting stuff. So look out for that in the next issue of the mag.
As many people have pointed out, quite rightly, you don't get to the final or the completely sorted iteration of something. Everyone's using amazing digital cameras and stuff these days, and we didn't get to amazing digital cameras in the first step as the example. So there you go. So looking forward to that. Carol, it's your turn. You're on. We have no pictures to support you, so you just need to wing this on your own.
Okay, you got a particular subject you want me to talk about?
I thought you might explain to people about Shuttleworth.
Shuttleworth's runway. Wonderful place. The runway has been around 500 meters for many years, and it extends to almost 800 meters on show days because there's been a road crossing it. They are taking the road down now, and which means you can't cross it because the road is now just a load of gravel and is being seeded for grass. Whether the runway is open depends on a daily basis. So you will need to go on the website, oldwardenaerodrome.co.uk, and check. This afternoon, it was closed, and I just got an email in this evening saying that it is open. So it is changing on a daily basis, and that really depends upon how much work machinery is there. But the whole runway will not be open again until spring, when the grass has grown up and all the seeding is completed. So it will be a short runway until next year.
And then it will be 800 meters, did you say?
799. And I've mentioned other airfields are 799, so somebody somewhere will know what the legal implications are of an 800-meter runway.
I was going to say.
Obviously makes a difference.
It clearly does. I spotted something just briefly. Sorry, Ed.
You were talking about progress and how digital cameras started out. Henry Andel had the following observation. Dave will tell you about the time when cameras let out a puff of smoke. So mean, Henry.
I think my earliest memory of cameras is like my family at Christmas, and used to buy these flash bulbs that you kind of had to take out and turn them through 90 degrees. Like a single-use flash bulb. I remember those.
Yeah. Do you remember that Sony digital camera we took to the States in about year 2000.
Yeah.
It had a floppy disk in the back and could take one photograph.
Oh, that's
which you then
amazing,
had to
wasn't it?
transfer.
Yeah, I remember that.
Things have changed.
Yeah, thankfully.
Following on from Carol's airfield news, Ian, you've got something about Cotswold, haven't you?
Cotswold, yeah, I saw this on Facebook, so I don't know if this is 100% kosher or not. So please do check with Cotswold if you're going to go there. I saw on October the 21st, obviously next week, next Thursday, indeed. Cotswold is planning to be closed for the day due to a widespread local planned power outage. But do check that because things change. Who knows? But I spotted that. So that's just a kind of heads up, really. Talking of airfields, Dave, how are you getting on with tracking down the official response to the Fair Oaks story?
Well, nobody wants to go on the record about Fair Oaks at the moment, and partly that's because the management of the airfield and the property developer that owns a big chunk of it has the rights to manage some of the buildings there. They're in delicate negotiations about the future. So they might be able to continue using the existing tower. They might be able to continue using the big hangar. They're still talking about it. But at least they're talking. It's not a done deal as yet. I did hear actually today that Fair Oaks is quite busy at the moment. There's a lot of Pilatus PC-12s going in and out. So that's quite good revenue for the airfield. Good to see that happening. It's worth remembering that Fair Oaks is a hard runway, so it's a very useful place to have just where it is.
Yeah, absolutely. We've got an answer on the 799 metre thing. It means it can be 18 metres wide instead of 20 metres for longer. And Paul Fraser Benison says a code 2 is 800 metres.
Thank you.
Learn something every day.
799 code 1 or code 3 then?
Oh, well, that's a good question. Paul will no doubt answer.
Okay, there you go, Paul. We're putting you on the spot.
That's it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Fair Oaks it's in a fantastic place. It also happens to be in a place where property prices are outrageously high as well, doesn't it? So I'm sure that for property developer, it must be quite tempting.
And there's not much land. So a code 1, Paul says.
There you go. So Old Warden will get a code 1 runway.
Yes. If only so that someone can grab a radio and go, code on.
Perhaps we should have those codes to suggest to each other when we need to move on. It's a code red situation. Let's move on.
Move on. Okay. Well, it's your turn, Dave. You're going to tell us about something words that you don't often hear in one sentence, and that is the Civil Aviation Authority and rapid reaction.
Yes, it's actually the Rapid Capabilities Office. The CAA has a Rapid Capabilities Office, and the reason it's come about this week is because they formed a group called the eVTOL Safety Group. eVTOL is electric vertical takeoff and landing aircraft, like this vertical aerospace aircraft you can see here. Because of all the interest in this, and because there's some safety issues to be resolved, such as landing like this in the middle of a town. So they formed a safety group. It's headed by the chap who is head of the Rapid Capabilities Office. First time I realised that the CA had such a group. Apparently, it's been there's been a Rapid Capabilities Office in the MOD for some time, and they've transferred the idea over to the CAA. Among those safety issues was probably range. If only the safety issue. One of the safety issues about eVTOLs, of course, is range, which we were talking about. Because if you're going to operate an aircraft commercially, it's an air taxi, then you can't be running out of power, as you're coming into land vertically. There's a bit to be sorted out there.
Oh, well, I guess if you're going to be an eVTOL pilot, the licensing people will make sure you won't get the license anyway to run out.
No.
Yeah.
No.
A quick genuine thumbs up to the CA here on the back to the Pipistrel story. They're gonna basically you can fly the Pipistrel on an SCP license, and they were thinking of having an SEE license, but I think they've decided pragmatically that you can fly it on an SCP license. So well done to them. I know elsewhere in the Arsaland, they spent many years in Sweden discussing which licensing needed to fly it and who could fly it and all that kind of stuff. So well done, CEA. More of the same, please. And as Dave White said, if it was the Shared Services Department who could do rapid reaction, that would be great.
Was the post room? Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
A Where's Zara update. Obviously, last week's brilliant live stream guest, Zara Rutherford. She's been stuck in Nome, Alaska all week. Obviously, when she was on, she was hoping to depart from there, heading to Anadir, but that's been delayed. Currently in her schedule, it had 18th of October for that, but we heard just in from her dad, Sam, at the start of the show, a message to Ian. He said, tricky but workable probably. We're watching for clarity and improvement. Departure and destination are clear. So they were looking hopeful for the next few days. So good luck with the big crossing into Russia, Zara.
Yeah, so if anyone wants to go and check Flyzolo, which is the website, .com, you'll find out whether there was a possibility that she could launch for Russia in the next hour or so, I believe.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, check it out. Keep your fingers crossed.
Yeah.
And, yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
Which I think just a couple of things for me to round up here. Pilot Careers Live. If you are considering a commercial career and you want to get more information, come to our event on the 6th of November. Sofitel, go to pilotcareerslive.com where you can buy tickets. Great place to find out all the information you could possibly want. It's clearly not a straightforward proposition these days, to say the least. So you need to arm yourself with the best information you could possibly get, because it's going to cost you a fair chunk of money, and you need to make the best decisions you can. Talking of best decisions, the Aviators Ball, they have a few tickets left, but not that many. So if you're thinking of going, you need to get in touch with them and buy your tickets now. It's on Saturday, 20th of November. The silent auction at www.airability.co.uk. You can get there from that. I think that's the right website. I might have that wrong. You can check out the silent auction. That'll be live from the beginning of November. And one of the prizes will be, you'll be able to bid to come and be our guest on the live stream. So imagine that. I mean, Carol, so far, how much would you pay £7.50 to come on here?
Oh, give my life to be on here again.
Yeah. Would you pay £7.50?
Maybe not.
But no, it's all for a great cause. So go bid on something there. And there's usually loads of fantastic prizes.
Yeah, and raising money for Airability. So,
well worthwhile.
Yeah.
And it's not true that I tend to go to the ball and get drunk at all. Right.
Must be time for.
Well, funnily enough, we would normally have Rat Watch, but Dave, tell us about Rat Watch.
Well, there are no rats because it's the end of the season. There's no more air shows, which create a lot of the rats. There is obviously this blinking great rat that's going to appear over Scotland in the end of October, beginning of November. But apart from that, it's open airspace, really. Just do what you like.
Don't take that as an official briefing, though, will you?
Yeah, Dave said
it was okay. I could do what you like. It's open airspace. We're not bothering with airspace anymore. Because Dave said so.
But what we do have is obviously somewhere that was having its fair share of bits of closed airspace with some TDAs last year was Llanbedr in North Wales. They've traded for a whole bunch of permanent ones now that are NOTAM operated. And Johnny, when he was here, caught up with airfield manager David Young to talk about what's going on at the airfield and to hear about their work or his work with the RAF on commercial trials with microlights.
Well, David Young, thank you very much for joining us. We're going to talk about microlights first of all, and then we're going to move on and talk about the airfield Llanbedr in a bit. But you do two main things in general aviation. Firstly, we'll talk about these microlights. So we recently ran a story about a small team who were working on the commercial use of microlights, and you were part of that team. So can you just tell me what the aircraft were doing and how that kind of need came about?
Well, it came about out of a long passion of mine to use microlights, which can operate compared to light aircraft much more economically, burning less fuel. So that's more environmentally friendly than burning lots and lots of fuel. I suppose that went right back to the expeditions that I did back in Africa and Nepal back in the 1980s. that we were showing that the aircraft could be were reliable and usable and stuff. So anyway, it's all rather died a death until recently. I teamed up with Professor Baker from DSTL and then the RAF, and the permission that I finally got from the CAA to use the aircraft for commercial work back in January. It took a while. It was quite a bit of effort. The flying school at Kemble had to be audited by the Military Aviation Authority. So we had 4 guys come down and go through our systems, our safety management processes, and so on. And then the permission was very much granted, I think, by the CAA to assist the MOD or the RAF Rapid Capabilities Office in their particular desire to do work. So it's not going to be open door for suddenly using microlights for commercial work, but nonetheless, there is an ambition there to prove that we can do useful stuff with microlights with obviously the very professional engagement of the RAF.
Yeah.
And hopefully there will be some spin-off later down the road for the microlight community. I mean, I'd like to think there are things that can be done, aerial survey work, photography, that could be done quite legitimately in a microlight aeroplane. But you have to put safeguards in, and you've got to consider the commercial considerations and potential pilot qualifications and so on. But what it's been doing since the initial tests with a satellite antenna, we had another project up in Northumberland where the aircraft was flying over the military ranges. I think it's the Otterburn ranges in Northumberland for just over a week, and I think it did about 14 or 15 hours flying. And obviously, I'm not at liberty to disclose exactly what the MOD are doing with the aeroplane, but I think as the upshot from that event, where they're now looking at fitting some optical sensors of some sort underneath the aeroplane for a further trial, which will take place, and there's some very clever bits of kit that they can use. And importantly, the British Microlight Aircraft Association are 100% behind this. And without the valuable help of the BMAA Technical Office, we couldn't do this. So the RAF Rapid Capability Office is named Rapid Capability for very good reasons. And the problem with doing some of this work in the conventional aviation world is it takes months and months and months to get approvals for anything. Whereas with some of the minor modifications that we want to do to the aircraft to carry sensors or cameras or that sort of stuff, it can go through a thorough but sensible and quick technical evaluation at the BMAA Technical Office, and we can crack on and do stuff. I do hope if we provide the CAA with the right information that they will allow us to extend the project beyond the 2 years. It's going into 2023, and it's already rather exciting.
In terms of microlights themselves, other than a sort of a cost saving, what other benefits do you think that they offer, and what have the RAF found any other benefits to using them?
Well, they can fly pretty slowly, so they can fly as slow as a small drone, not a VTOL drone, but they can fly as slow as a small drone. They can fly as fast as a light helicopter. They've got good altitude capability, certainly up to 10,000 feet, with the right fuel on board, of course. They've got better visibility. At 600 kilos, we're going to be able to fit some of the sensors that they want to fit without a weight issue. So I've got a Ninja on order, which hopefully is going to be produced in December or maybe January next year at the new 600 kilo weight limit. And obviously we need to be operating these aircraft a lot more carefully when they're flying at higher weights with longer takeoff rolls and landing and so on, and changes in climb rate, performance and everything else. However, I think the 600 kilo microlight will give us an option. I mean, the visibility in the Ninja is quite extraordinary, and you know, these aircraft are reliable, and you know, we're hoping to you know, to continue to prove that.
Great. Now, talking about the airfield that you're sat at the moment, Llanbedr, your other hat is aerodrome manager of it, isn't it?
That's right, yeah.
Right, so now there was some confusion earlier this month when the new danger areas popped up on our charts like Sky Demon, and it's all now been resolved, and there'll be no TAMD active rather than just solidly there. Can you tell us a bit about why those are needed?
Well, Llanbedr's been used as a facility for testing drones in the UK since the 1950s with the Firefly and the Meteor. There was a massive danger area here right up until 2004, where it was used for drone trials. There is certainly a frustration amongst users of drones who are wanting to go BV loss now, beyond visual line of sight, that they have to go through the complex CAP 1616 process in order to get temporary airspace to fly drones BV loss. And we felt that there was an absolute crying need to get the danger area at Llanbedr re-established here, if you like. Well, it's a new danger area. It's not a re-establishment of the old. It's a new danger area. It is complex airspace. It's fragmented because under the flexible use of airspace policy, we must only NOTAM the airspace that we actually need for any particular engagement. We hoped to activate it last week for a company operating 2 VTOL drones. One was a small one, 5 kilos, another one a 30 kilo drone. Unfortunately, that company didn't get their CAA RPAS department approval in time to activate. But the airspace is broken down in such a way that GA should be able to get past the airspace either on the inland side if the central area and the seaward airspace is activated, or going around the outside on the coastal side if we were operating the central airspace and the airspace over land. There won't be much going on now till next year. We'd always identified a while ago that this winter time we're going to be recruiting, so we're looking for an aerodrome operations manager full time now. Be great if it was they were a FISO as well. We're also about to advertise for another full-time FISO, and we're hoping to pull in a trainee operations assistant from the local community, perhaps.
Sounds like it's all systems go at Llanbedr then.
It certainly is. Never a dull moment.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, that sounds great. Thank you very much for joining us, and yeah, we look forward to hearing more, and we'll have to pop by sometime next year and come and have a look around.
You will. I promise to let you in.
Yeah. Fabulous. Right. Thank you very much, David.
Absolute pleasure. All right, Johnny.
Now that's a really good use of NOTAMed danger areas, isn't it? And gets around all this, you know, let's have a TDA in the middle of Class G airspace in the middle of the Cotswolds. So
a couple of points I noted from that interview. The first one, given that the military have got a rapid capability office and the CA have now got a rapid capability office, do you think we need one?
A flyer rapid capability office?
Rapid capability office.
Definitely. I'm going to say I'm going to nominate Johnny for the flyer rapid capability office as he's not here to defend himself.
It does feel like that's where we've been living for about the last 27 years, though.
Certainly the last 20 months have been like that.
Yeah. Absolutely, yeah. And the other thing, you look at David Young, do you not think he's like a double for Elon Musk?
Kind of. Do you think he takes the glasses off and it's like, oh my God, it's Elon?
He could be Elon Musk's dad.
He's a top bloke, David Young.
He is.
Yeah.
He is. There's an awful lot of David Young stories because he's been around in the microlight world for a while, and in another world, in another life, many years ago, I thought of doing something stupid like, hey, wouldn't it be fun to fly over Everest in a microlight? And I went to talk to. Sorry?
Everest or Snowdon?
Everest. Not Snowdon. I mean, it'd be fun to fly over Snowdon in a microlight, but it's not like shouldn't be that difficult, should it? So anyway, David Young actually tried it and didn't quite make it and crashed in the Himalayas. So I went and had a long chat. We should get him to tell that story at one point. It's kind of like
blimey, I didn't know that.
Now, but,
yeah. Very good.
Absolutely. Some good David Young stories.
Yes, but good to see lots of positive stuff going on with Lambetta, and so clearly some investment and some more people needed. And here's hoping 2022 is a really good year for them.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
Hands up! I've never been to Lambetta, so
and I hear that this year on Fridays there were really excellent fly-in barbecue nights. So. And I know a few people had been to those. I kept seeing them mentioned in the comments. So
there's a very good flying school. They're a very active flying school. Fly Snowdonia. Yeah.
Stephen Evans, good friend.
Yep, good people, good guy.
Yeah. And as Leah Fay reminds us, Lambetta is a sometime would-be spaceport.
Did I read a story I'm sure I read that the UK is about to launch its first commercial rocket or something from somewhere in Scotland. I can't remember.
It is November the 5th.
Yeah.
It's a really big firework from Asda.
Yeah, good one. Okay, so I think it must be time for.
Where's
my video gone?
Oh no!
Need to get
always the anticipation.
Here we go. Must be time for.
So this week's fancy hanger, we were having a think around about what we were going to do, and Carol came up with the idea of why not actually go looking for actual fancy hangers. That's buildings and places we'd like to live with our aeroplanes. So that was a good reason to trawl the internet. What has everyone found?
Dave.
Dave.
I seem to go first every week. But anyway, I've found an absolutely stunning place. It's close to water, which I like. It's in amongst the hills, which I like, and it's got sunshine. This is it. It is number 28. Number 28, nicknamed Midfield Escape. It's in Whitsunday Aviation Village Estate, which is at Chute Harbour Airport on the Whitsunday Islands off the coast of Australia. Look at it. I mean, God, it's wonderful. And that particular house is, admittedly, it's not cheap. It's a very expensive house.
It looks like a lifeboat station.
It's got the hangar as part of the house, but next door to it is a spare hangar for your classic cars, or my classic cars. So you absolutely have everything there.
Yeah, it looks like a big garage for an RV of not the flying type.
So when you say it's quite an expensive house, how much roughly was it?
$1.8 million.
That's quite expensive, but this is fancy hangar, so that is a nice. I'll agree that it's a pretty fancy.
Really matter then, does it?
Do you say again where it was located?
It's on the Whitsunday Isles off the coast of Australia.
Ah, okay.
Yeah,
nice.
So the hot bit, yeah.
It does look. I have to say, I do like the idea of all those the hills and the sea, and that's
that looks good.
Yeah. The only thing about Australia, of course, is the wildlife. Sorry.
Yeah. Too many spiders.
You're worried I was going to upset the whole of Australia there?
Yes, basically, as you've done before to various other countries.
Yes.
It's just
Australia to Ukraine and Kent.
Ukraine and Kent. Well, I found somewhere in Canada. So this kind of place appealed to me because, again, you've got a nice bit of water on the lake. Your hangars are kind of hanger for a float plane. I mean, that's got to be pretty special. However, I sort of dug into it a little bit, and the story goes back in 2013, and this guy who owns the lake and the house applied for planning permission for a boathouse, and had planning permission for a boathouse refused on environmental grounds. I think that's kind of a local rule that you can't build any more boathouses on lakes or something. So he thought he'd be a bit smart, and he applied for permission for a hangar through the kind of National Canadian Aeronautical, whatever it's called. And had that been approved, that would have trumped the local law, and he would have been okay. But the judge on the, because he appealed it, the judge on the kind of boathouse thing said, nope, you can't have it. Basically, the guy had tried to get this, but the judge pointed out the fact that he didn't actually have a pilot license or an aeroplane. And so therefore, he didn't think it was a hangar and thought it was just a ruse to get himself a boathouse instead. So,
okay. So that's not his Murphy float plane then.
No, I think he just
okay.
Probably, but mate, could you pop over? And just
and pretend. And it looks very nice. It looks very nice. But go on, finish.
So he said to the judge, he said, "Well, it's got a windsock. You can put a Cessna in it. I think I own an airfield." And the judge went, "You haven't got an airplane. You haven't got a pilot's license. Stop being silly."
The thing I like about hangars, the hangar man cave thing, that big space, you can put stuff in it. Like there is a bit of a flaw with your hangar, but because you push things into your hangar and it falls in the water.
There is no. You mean there is? The flaw is that there is no flaw.
There is no flaw.
We're aware of the fact that there's no flaw in my hangar, and the fact that there was some planning dispute. I ended up going for something that was actually far more practical, and this was I knew about this place, as you'll see, but friend Nigel also suggested this. So here I am. See the airplane parked on the lawn there, jolly nice, and that's the lawn, and the lawn is just to the left of this house here. Hangar house to the right. There's a jeep behind that wall. There's a swimming pool. And that whole thing is probably no more than 10 minutes flying time from La Rochelle, I think. Atlantic Air Park in France.
Very nice.
You land, you click a frequency 5, 6, or 7, a number of times. I can't remember how many it is. The barriers open. You look left, look right, make sure there are no cars coming. Taxi over the road into the little development. Park up on your lawn, ready to push back into your hangar. And there you are. Fantastic weather, fantastic French food, very relaxed flying.
Very nice.
That's what I went for. So I believe the next person is Carol. It's you.
Yes.
Through your choice, Carol.
I've gone for the uber glamorous, and I've cheated, a bit like you, Ian. But I initially you had 2 entries. Which one are people going to vote for, huh?
The French one.
I originally chose Hangar 7, which is the Red Bull hangar in Salzburg, Vienna. But because that's full of the public, I chose the hangar that you can just see through the end there, the opposite it, Hangar 8, which is their maintenance hangar, which doesn't tend to get the public in there unless invited. It's got loads of room, so you get all the chipmunks in the world you want in there. And being extremely luxurious, they're bound to have engineer restrooms. That's where I'd shack up. There's a good restaurant in Hangar 7, so there's all the food you can eat there. There's a bar. You know more about the bar, Ed, don't you?
Ian knows about the bar. I think Ian's been to the bar. In Hangar 7, the bar is in this kind of glass thing up in the hangar roof, which we did say if you were living in Hangar 7, you might get a whole bunch of frosting film and turn that big space up in the roof into your bedroom or something, And with they've got the restaurant there, so you can have the chefs cook for you, and there must be some, and you can have the VIP interior of the DC-6 as your kind of living room. It's quite nice. But I think your idea of using the maintenance hangar, which clearly is much more livable and is a bit more private. There's a lot less glass.
I need the space.
And space, yeah. No, it's good. It's a good choice. It's a good choice.
About a gazillion years ago.
Yes.
I was invited with a bunch of other people to go visit Rotax in Austria. So I went to see Rotax in Austria, and they said, and on one of the evenings, I said, we're going for dinner tonight. Let's go to the local airport. So we went to the local airport, The DC-6 pitched up. We all jumped in the DC-6 and then flew to Salzburg.
Ooh.
And went into the Hangar 7 restaurant and had a jolly nice meal, courtesy of Rotax. Unfortunately, it didn't fly us back. We got the coach back.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
It was it was a jolly special experience.
Yeah.
So, Carol, any idea roughly how much it might cost you?
Oh yeah, £7.50 a quarter.
Good answer. I'm guessing with energy bills the way they're going and gas prices going up, that's going to be quite a chunky heating bill.
Yeah, well, I'm going to be 184 million better off by the end of this week, so I'm not worried.
There we go. That's good.
How many chipmunks are there in the world? Do you know?
On the UK register, there's approximately 120, of which approximately 60 are flying, and it's the same in America. I haven't got the statistics, I'm afraid, but we've got them in Australia, South Africa. They're still using about 4 or 6 in the Portuguese Air Force, and they're dotted all over the world. So there's a few hundred, 240, 300, something like that.
So you could have a fair old number to visit.
Yeah. Absolutely, we'll get them all over.
Yeah.
You could turn it into. Sorry, you could turn it into chipmunk heaven there, Carol.
Hello.
Throw all the other stuff out and you make it a world base for chipmunks.
Yeah, but you know what would happen, don't you? The floor would just be covered in oil.
So true.
Yeah, you need that. You'd need all those little like nappy pads that they put out for leaking aeroplanes.
It's a vision.
Okay, nappy pad for the chipmunk.
Yes, that just leaves my choice. And Claire B has anticipated incorrectly. Ed has a high bar to beat. I can't possibly beat Carol's choice. I went for. I found this. It's not too grand, but when I think of living with my aeroplane, I often think of it being in a hangar underneath my house. You walk downstairs, switch on the lights, and there we go. You're in a really happy place. This place is in Arizona. It's a nice size hangar. I think the door they had down is 45 feet wide. It's a big enough house, 4 bedrooms, 4 bathrooms. Nice runway attached. It was on the market last year and it sold for the equivalent of £460,000. So for me, okay, it's not dream fantasy territory, but it's kind of achievable. So you go, actually the dream that, if someone ever gets their act together with hangar homes in the UK, we could have places like that. So
good.
Yes, I know that no one will pick that one. And I did notice that when Ian came up with his floating boathouse, there was a lot of Ian wins.
Except he didn't choose it in the end.
That's true. Yeah, he didn't choose it, so Ian threw away his winning choice.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which probably makes Carol a winner. So it would be
Neil Gascoigne. That's a blast from the past. Hello, Neil. How are you?
Thank you, everybody.
But someone points out Mike Patey's hangar. If you've watched the Mike Patey videos, that does look like a nice place to hang out. Mike has has fabrication space and tidy space, and he's got race cars stuck up on his wall, and he clearly never goes home. So he's obviously got space to live there. So
where is his place?
His hangar is in Utah.
Okay.
Spanish Fort.
Spanish Fort, Utah. So Adrian Norris says, joining late, did Johnny get terminated? No. Just to stand in for Johnny this week.
I've had a sex change. I am Johnny.
Yes.
Cool. So were there any suggestions in the comments apart from votes? Did anyone come up with their
No. Oh, late entry. Ian said, Steve McGee, Ian wins for the French property.
Thank you. I think there's something to be. I know it's fantasy.
Leah says Carol has the party hanger. Definitely. Aviator Steve says Carol wins. I think it is a wins. Oh, thank you, Jane. I go for Ed. It's more comfortable.
Awesome.
I think I kind of agree with Jane. I think Ed's hanger is kind of.
Party time.
No, Carol's just won. Sorry.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, well.
See, Johnny never did anything like this.
It was...
Hey, Johnny, look and learn.
Well.
Look and learn. Okay, so where are we? Whoa, how did it get to be 8:30? Right, let's have a quick run through. What are we going on to next? What's happening this weekend, Dave?
Right, this weekend, well, there's the Alderney flying. That's from tomorrow until Sunday. That's usually held earlier in the year, but obviously for COVID reasons, they've had to put it back. Coming up on the 23rd of October, Take Flight, the flying school, they're having an open day at Enstone. This is their new home at Enstone. They used to be at Wellesbourne, but now they're at Enstone. On the same day, there's a historic aircraft symposium at the RAF Museum. And on the 26th of October, the LAA Fly-It Day. And what looks like being one of the last flyings of the year, apart from the Christmas ones, one of the last flyings is on the 31st of October, the Vintage Aircraft Club at Turweston.
And I'm reminded, as Paul Fraser-Bennison has stuck in the comments, Netherthorpe has a Vans RV flying this weekend, Saturday and Sunday.
Right. You didn't tell us, Ed.
Oh, Paul Cadell says, Kirriemuir, Saturday, and new farm flyings this weekend.
Right. Oh, well, a couple more events.
Yeah. Excellent. Well, good. Yeah. Carol, would you like to tell us about the benefits of the club and how much it costs?
I would. It's extremely reasonable. It's only £7.50 a quarter, and you get so much for it. You get to read the magazine, full of information, and one of the best things is the free landings. You get 4 free landings every issue, and free landings.
Six free landings.
I haven't on the page yet. I'm only on the first page.
The other 4.
And over the year, it works out way more than the subscription. So
very good. You had to throw in your Johnny style maths error.
Yeah, it's just got to stay in character, make a mistake.
I haven't got the beard yet. I'm working on that. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, don't go there. Don't go there.
I'm going to be cheeky. I'm going to say, anyone who takes me flying, I will buy them an annual subscription to flying.
Oh,
wow.
Wow.
That's got to be worth it, isn't it?
Absolutely.
1 year. Take me flying. You get that. How about that?
I'll take you flying, Carol, and you wouldn't even need to buy me an annual subscription. But on a serious note, for any of you out there who aren't members of the club, please join. £7.50 a quarter. It's got to be one of the lowest cost things in aviation. And frankly, we put a shitload of work into producing the best copy, content, videos, live streams, and everything we can. And we can't do it for nothing. So we kind of need your support. So £7.50 a quarter, and it will be going up at some stage. So if you want to guarantee and tie yourself in for at least a year, then why not sign up? Thank you. We'd appreciate it. We would appreciate your support. Thank you very much.
Very good.
I think that could well be the end. I think the only thing I have to do is to thank, I say I have to do, it sounds like I don't want to. I do want to thank Sky Demon for their very generous support of the live stream. Without them, it really wouldn't be possible to carry on doing this kind of thing. So thank you very much, Sky Demon. Thank you very much, team. Thank you very much, everyone, for watching. We look forward to seeing you next week, 7:30 on Thursday, the 21st of October. Thank you very much.
And thank you, Carol, for joining us.
Thank you. It's been a huge pleasure. Enormous fun. Thank you.
And I'm just scrolling to find the thing that I need to put up. Where does it keep going?
You just got to remember not to talk after you quit the video because the sound keeps going.
I can't even find. Oh, there you go. Thank you very much, everyone.
Thanks
all.
We'll
See you next week.
See you next week.
Thank God that's over.